Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline. I am the evangelist at Covalent. So anything from product to community, that's what I do. But welcome to our second episode of Hidden Gems. This is the first segment where we will be talking about NFT data and answering some common questions. But joining me is Lei, who is part of the product team. Lei, for those who haven't met you, would love for you to do a little introduction to yourself.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm excited to be here. I'm in product at Covalent, so I do a lot of different content explaining the API, how to use it, Covalent as a whole, and that's anything from hackathon involvement to guides on our knowledge base or landing pages on our website, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into NFTs today. It's a fun topic, and there's definitely a lot to cover.
All right, so we'll start with the big question. What are NFTs?
Yes, so NFTs are non-fungible tokens, which are basically a way to represent ownership of digital assets on chain, so on the blockchain. This is in contrast to fungible tokens, which are used in decentralized finance, that are basically, they function the same way that regular money does, where $5 equals $5 and it's all interchangeable. NFTs are for unique assets. So these are used for the buying and selling or trading or any other use case of things like artwork or clothing or unique experiences. But it's basically, it's not tradable like money. It's a way to exchange digital assets that are unique.
Okay. And do you have some examples of some big NFT platforms that are out there that people could take a look at?
Totally. So I'd say the most dominant NFT platform is probably OpenSea, and that's used also for one of the most popular use cases of NFTs, which is artwork or profile pictures, as they're commonly used in Web3. But OpenSea is a big platform that basically allows you to buy and sell NFTs. So you can see accounts and creators can showcase their work on there, and people can bid or buy their artwork, and then you can see that direct transaction history, so you know this was created by this person, it's been sold this many times, this is the price that it was sold for. So it's a really transparent way to interact with digital assets. Cool. And I guess while we're on that, I just gave one example, but OpenSea is a really big NFT marketplace, but there's also a lot of other ways that NFTs show up. So in your digital wallets, for instance, like Rainbow Wallet is a Web3 wallet where you can also see the NFTs that you hold. You can see NFTs on block explorers like Etherscan, which you might be familiar with. So there's a lot of other like popular platforms where you can utilize NFTs, or at least view the NFTs that people hold.
I know you mentioned one of the use cases, but I normally get a lot of people asking, well, what are other ways that you can use NFTs?
Totally. Yeah. So art is kind of the big one because it's just very intuitive, a unique asset that can sell for a lot of money on chain. But there's also a lot of other things that NFTs can be used for, because going back to the definition, it basically just represents ownership of something unique. So that could be property, which is kind of interesting. People use it to buy a house or to buy a fraction of a house, so fractionalized investments.
Okay.
People also use it for gaming, which is another cool use case. So if you play a blockchain-based game, you might earn NFTs or collect NFTs, which can signify rare items in the game, and then you can hold that collectible in your wallet. There can also be royalty tracking for creators like musicians that want to create their own content and have ownership of all of the funds that they receive along the way, instead of having intermediaries take a portion of those funds. Those are kind of some of the big ones. Another big one is social tokens. So NFTs can also be used to represent membership in a community, or to allow you certain privileges. People can see if you have an NFT in your wallet, and then if you do, then maybe you can vote, or you can access this community, or something like that.
What would a developer, or why would a developer want to build an NFT project? Are there I guess different things like, I don't know, like DeFi apps. I know you mentioned like social tokens. Anything else that you can cover?
Yeah, I think the use cases are endless, and like building with NFT data is quite attractive because one, it's a very digestible way to get into blockchain or the world of Web3. So a lot of people in your everyday life might be kind of intimidated by DeFi and all of the complexities of like yield farming and staking, or they might not really understand crypto, or they might not be in it for a financial purpose. But NFTs can represent a lot of different pathways for people to get into Web3, whether it's artwork or any other type of like community aspect, which is really fun. So as a developer, you can build wallets, for instance, which, you know, show your users NFT holdings. You can build DeFi platforms that integrate NFTs. You can build gaming solutions, like some of the things that we've already mentioned. But there's also like so many other interesting ways that you could showcase that data. You can come up with new use cases. You can build things like event platforms, for instance, that like issue tickets as NFTs, or really like anything in the world of ownership, and you can make it easy for people, which is really nice. So NFT solutions don't have to be complicated for the user. OpenSea has done a pretty good job of like limiting the complexity, or like hiding some of the clunkiness of Web3, which is nice to, it's just less intimidating for like new users to be able to adopt that platform. Is like, you know, buying a piece of artwork that you like is a lot easier to do than a lot of other transactions in Web3. I would say as a developer, one, it's cool and visual and fun and the use cases are endless, but two, you have the potential to reach a way wider demographic, which is also really interesting.
Oh, thanks for covering all of those. I guess like different use cases or different possibilities for developers. Even though there's many options or amazing things that you can build, what are some of the challenges that you think there are with getting NFT data?
There's a lack of standardization. So all of the transactions that occur in Web3 are pretty much interacting with smart contracts, but not all smart contracts are built the same way or function the same way. So to just focus on NFTs for the sake of this webinar, somebody can create an NFT collection in the form of a contract, but the sales can be labeled a certain way, or the actions that you're able to take with that NFT can be different than somebody else's NFT collection. What makes it challenging for developers who are trying to extract a lot of data and build with it and make something meaningful with that data is that lack of standardization, either across NFT collections or across blockchains, or whatever protocols they're working with, makes it a lot harder to say, look at all trades, or all every time somebody's bought an NFT, or every time somebody's traded an NFT on this platform, because the actual data, the underlying data can be different because the smart contracts are different and the blockchains are different. And there's also the interoperability aspect. So that's basically about different blockchains working in different ways. So you can build something on one blockchain, but then your users might also be interested in trading on Polygon besides Ethereum. They might want like a lower cost experience. And so porting that same application over to a different blockchain and enabling the same functionality is not always easy to do because they work differently as well.
How does Covalent address those challenges?
Yeah, so that's kind of the main reason that Covalent exists, is to solve for challenges that arise with this multi-chain or multi-blockchain world that we're working with. The interoperability is a big part of that. Covalent provides a unified API. So unified APIs exist outside Web3, but we're the only unified API in Web3, which is basically a tool that aggregates APIs that would allow you to access different data and makes it all accessible through one. So in our case, without Covalent, you could use an Ethereum API and a Binance API and a Polygon API, and they're all different endpoints, and sometimes the data structure looks different, and you have to integrate with a lot more tools. With Covalent, you just use the Covalent API and you change the parameters that you're interested in. So to switch from Ethereum to Polygon, you just change the name of the blockchain in your query, or the ID. And similarly, to switch between NFT collections, you just change the address. And the API provides a much more like easy to use, scalable, multi-chain experience, which it's useful for developers that are focused on building especially solutions that are multi-chain, because rather than build out a whole project on one chain and have to do it all again with different infrastructure on another chain, you can just use the same tools. It's a lot more scalable that way. And we also standardize the request and the response of the data. So we actually go through a lot of the hard work of classifying different types of transactions and standardizing the fields that you'll see when you make a request across any blockchain. If I get like the NFTs that somebody's holding in their wallet on any blockchain that's supported by Covalent, which is over 100 blockchains, I'll see the same format of everything that they're holding. So I'll see like the NFT name, the metadata, the contract. I can render the images the same, and like all of those fields are the same, which makes it a lot easier to build applications because I don't have to go and learn that tool every single time or learn what new fields mean or like do that all myself. So yeah, Covalent's geared towards solving interoperability mainly, and making it easier and faster to build multi-chain applications.
That's pretty cool. It does sound like it's very easy to use, hence why you guys should sign up for the API. If somebody actually did want to sign up for the API, how could they do that on the website?
Yeah, you go to the main website, which is covalenthq.com, and then I think the biggest pink button right on the front page is get an API key, which is free, so you just click on that, or you could go to covalenthq.com/platform. And yeah, it's free to sign up, and from there you can decide what tier you want to be on. If you just want to play around, experiment, or build like a medium-sized project using the API, you can probably do that for free. We give 100,000 credits per month for free for API calls for the most part. If you are building something that has a lot of users or you need higher requests per second or a larger volume than that, then you can look at our other tiers, and then you just like put in a credit card and do it that way.
Thanks, Lei. For the next part of this segment, Lei is going to be diving into the API reference and showing you how it works. But before that, if you enjoyed this segment, hit the like and subscribe button just to keep updated with the new content that we put out every week. If you want to sign up for the API, we'll include the link down in the description. But if you have any questions, just comment below or use the community section of our channel. Let's get into the API reference, and looking forward to seeing you guys for segment 2. Bye.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, now I'm going to go into the API reference and show you which NFT endpoints we provide. So what types of NFT data you can get with Covalent's API. So here we go. So to get to the API reference, a good place to start is the docs. This is also called our knowledge base. It's covalenthq.com/docs. This is going to give you an overview of Covalent and some of the stuff we just talked about. And you can see that the API reference is, oh, my Zoom window's in the way. The API reference is right up here in the right corner. So this is where you can actually try the API live and experiment with all of the different endpoints we offer, see the response, input different parameters. So even if you're a complete beginner, this is a great place to get started. And it'll give you a bit of an overview, like the types of different data we offer. But again, on the theme of this video, let's go just in NFTs and explore that world. So if you click on this NFT tab, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. This is kind of how we group the endpoints into different use cases. And under NFT, you'll see core rendering and ownership and token gating. So let's go into core rendering first. And you'll see a bunch of different endpoints in here. So core rendering is kind of exactly what it sounds like. These are the endpoints that you would need to create an interface like a marketplace or a gallery where you're seeing all the NFT images or GIFs, whatever the asset is. And you're seeing the metadata, like the name of the NFT, the attributes. So let's browse through here. So the first thing, you can get the NFTs for an address. So basically this is seeing which NFTs a certain wallet holds, whether it's your own or somebody else's. Then you can also get all of the NFT token IDs. So because NFTs are unique for an NFT collection, all of the NFTs have a unique token ID. So like number 1, number 2, number 3. So you can get all of those with the metadata of each of them. And this is really useful for building a gallery like NFTX, for instance, or even OpenSea, where you click on a collection and it shows you all of the different NFTs that are there. I'll go into some examples of what this looks like in a sec. And then you can get the single NFT with all of its details. So if you were still on OpenSea and then you clicked on that NFT specifically and you saw every single detail, like all of the attributes and everything. You could get all that with this. Actually, that was kind of bad. Then you can get a single NFT token ID with the metadata. So this is like if you were still on OpenSea and you clicked on a particular NFT, this would bring up the big image, all of the associated data with it, and you could render that from this endpoint. I'm going to skip this one because that's new. Then you can get NFT transactions. So if you want to see the transaction history for any NFT, again, that's just like any asset that you're querying, you can see all of the transactions that have taken place since it was created. So this can help you verify that that is the correct item you're looking for and you're buying it from the correct wallet or you're buying it from the correct person. And you can see all of the sales and all of the data regarding that NFT. And then for NFTs that have traits and attributes, like bored apes, for instance, they all have like different colored backgrounds, they're wearing different things. So the traits can be like the hat or the earrings or the shirt, and then the attributes can be like a red shirt, a blue shirt, a green shirt. There's sort of like the categories and then the things within the categories. So you can get all the traits for a collection, so you can understand all of the different ways that that NFT can look, and all the attributes, so you can get the specific things. And you can get all of that information in the traits summary endpoint if you just want to get a whole overview. And this one's super interesting because a big aspect of NFTs is rarity, and like the way that a lot of NFTs attribute value is because they're more rare. And this trait summary endpoint actually contains a field that's like trait percentage, which tells you how many occurrences there are of that thing in the entire collection. So if my NFT had red shoes and only like 1% of the NFTs in that collection had red shoes, mine would be super rare and I would have that percentage. So if you're building a wallet or an NFT marketplace or like even just a NFT rarity calculator website that shows you how rare the NFT is, that's a super useful field. So let's just get a quick look at what the rendering endpoints support. So let's go to NFTX. This is a client of Covalent. You can buy, sell, do a bunch of different things with NFTs on here. And so rendering endpoints would support this whole interface. You can see the images, the names of the NFTs. You can click into a certain collection. This is like that all token IDs with metadata endpoint I talked about. You can see all of the different IDs. You can further click in and see like, well, I guess that's probably not what I'm talking about, but if you go on the left here, you can see these are all of the traits and attributes. So the eyes, the accessories, all the different types of accessories, all supported with those endpoints from Covalent. So this is a really easy way to see an example of what you can build. And then of course you can extrapolate that into different use cases. So going back to the API reference, now let's just check out the ownership and token gating. We have check ownership and NFT collection. So for any sort of DAO related activity, like if you're enabling voting only based on people that hold an NFT, or if you're having an exclusive event and you want to see if somebody has the NFT that lets them into that event, this endpoint allows you to check if the wallet is holding any NFT for a certain collection. So it's really useful for all of those types of use cases. I feel like I say use a lot, but that's just the name of the game. And then there's check ownership for a specific NFT. So if you were like really just interested in, I don't know, if somebody's holding bored ape number 2000, you could check the specific, check if a wallet's holding that specific token with this endpoint. So those are all of the like purely NFT dedicated endpoints, but you can also get NFTs in the balances endpoint up here. Is just one last notable mention. If you want to just get the overall balances of a wallet, so me or an example wallet on chain, and see everything that they hold, all of the NFTs, all of the tokens, the NFTs are also returned in that endpoint. And if you want to check out all of the chains that you can make these queries across, you just go to the supported networks page here. So you can see currently a Covalent index is over 100 chains. You can browse those as logos or as a table. And to switch between, to make the same query on different blockchains, you just have to change either these chain names or the chain IDs. So that's the magic of the Unified API. We also have a bunch of helpful guides under Unified API to get started. So I'll leave you with that in this video. You can go and see how to verify NFT ownership or how to get NFT alpha with Covalent. I would definitely check out the guides if you're a beginner, or even if you're not a beginner. It's just a great place to go for inspiration. So yeah, that's broadly how to use the API. And if you have any questions, as Jackie mentioned, you could probably comment them in YouTube, or you could go to our Discord for support as well.